Okay, I'm currently so pissed right now because my room is like so annoying me because I have like the feeling there's no light coming into my room. It's completely dark. I think that's a side effect of my dark color which I painted in this room. So I'm genuinely considering repainting my room like all white because then it must be brighter, doesn't it? I even installed like a mirror down below because then I have like the feeling the light comes from underneath and brightens up the screen. Maybe I'm too picky, I don't know. Well, by the way, hi guys.
Purple, yellow, and red.
Alright guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Henry. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing good, but I'm pretty pissed about my room. Sorry for the rant in the intro, but nevertheless, talking about today's video, I finally managed to go back to crocheting after a long-term pause. As you might know, like doing crocheting projects like cardigans take up so much time and you have to be very motivated. That's why I came up with a cool new tutorial which is going to be easy, fast, and totally worth it at the end. What I'm actually talking about is these two cute bags I crocheted. This one is a brown bag which is for myself. I'm all into brown right now, as you might know. Like, I did this necklace in the last video. If you haven't checked it out yet, check it out. Like, all my outfits are right now completely brown. I don't know why. That's why I had to do a matching bag for this. But I know that there are many girls on my YouTube channel. So I also did a more brighter white, girly, cute pastel bag, which is more like a handbag for my sister. So it has two different hem straps. How we're going to do this, I'm going to show you right now. I did the tutorial on this one, but if you want to recreate this one, you just do the same exact process just with the other colors. Yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into the DIY. Regarding the materials, it's pretty easy. You're going to need some different mix of colors of yarn. I'm using the Schachenmeier, I think it's a German brand, Schachenmeier Bravo yarn, which is 3 to 4 millimeters. It's a DK light worsted yarn, and I'm using a 3 to 4 millimeter hook for this. Regarding the colors of the yarn, I'm using obviously brown. I've ordered 2 balls of brown for the brown, same to the white. I think it's an Ecro. For the other colors, I'm using for the brown bag some yellow, some black, and some grayish green. Only 1 ball of each. And for the white bag, I'm using a mint green, a purple, and a lavender. Only 1 ball as well. And that's actually it. About the inner lining, actually, for this I'm using like cotton cloth in white and black. Then some scissors that can cut into cloth, some normal hand sewing materials like a sewing needle and a white sewing thread. And now we can finally jump into the DIYing process. Now comes the fun part of the video, the crocheting process. We are going to start with the center of our flower. So you take your desired color. I'm taking the purple, building up our first magic ring. I'm trying my best to describe it as best as possible to you guys and how I've learned it. Before we start, we are defining 2 things. This is our loose end, which is the loose end of our yarn, and then we have a ball end, which is leading to our ball of yarn. We are laying our yarn into our palm, then we are looping and twisting our yarn, like the ball end of our yarn, around our index finger and middle finger, crossing the loose end of our yarn. We are opening our index finger and middle finger, take our hook, loop our hook through the back side of our loop, yarning over the yarn of our ball end, pull it through our loop, then we release the big loop from our index finger and middle finger, we turn it around, then we adjust, yarn over again, take that yarn from our ball end and loop it through the little loop we've already created, and then we pull it tight. So now you should be able to pull it tight with the loose end of your thread in order to adjust the size of your ring. Now we are going to chain up 2 separate chains in order to build our first post. In total, we are going to do 11 more posts by double crocheting into our magic ring. This is how it works. You chain up 2, then you double crochet. If you do not know how to double crochet, I'm just quickly explaining to you guys. You twist your yarn around your hook once, then you loop down into your magic ring, you yarn over, Then you pull the yarn through, you have 3 loops on your hook. Then you yarn over again, you pull the yarn through the first 2 loops only, you yarn over, pull the yarn through the last 2 loops, and this is how you close and finished up your first double crochet. You're going to repeat this several more times in order to have 12 posts in the end. The first 2 chain ups of your first post is also counting. When you have done your 12 posts, we are actually closing up our ring by pulling the loose end, and now you see that it closes the size of our ring, and it builds this round crocheting pattern. And then we just finish up the round center by slip stitching the last post, the 12th post, to our first post. In order to close up our center of the flower, we just chain up 1, cut our yarn and pull it through, and this is how you close your pattern. As soon as we have closed the center, this is very important. You have to be sure that you have 12 posts, because now we are going to add 12 rose petals of our flowers in order to have the whole patch add up in the end. So now we are going to attach our next color. In my case, it's going to be the light purple. In the sunflower case, it's obviously the yellow. And we are attaching our next yarn to the center of our flower by doing or tying a simple knot. We chain up 3. And now we are going to do a triple crochet. It's working the same way as the double crochet. The first 3 chain ups is your first post. We are building 4 of them for each rose petal. And then we are going to use the popcorn stitch actually to make the rose petal 3-dimensional. This is how it works. You take your hook, you twist your yarn around the hook 2 times, then you go into the same stitch where you just attached your yarn, and you yarn over. You have 4 loops on your hook. You yarn over, pull the yarn through the first 2 loops, having 3 loops remaining on your hook. Then you yarn over, you pull the yarn through the next 2 loops, having 2 remaining loops on your hook. You yarn over, pull the yarn through the last 2 loops, finishing up and closing up your triple crochet. You're going to repeat this process 2 times in order to have 4 posts. So we twist our yarn twice around our hook. We go into the same exact spot where we just attached the yarn. Yarn over, having 4 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pulling the yarn through the first 2 loops, having 3 remaining loops on the hook. We yarn over, pulling the yarn through the next 2 loops, having 2 loops remaining on our hook. And then we yarn over and pull the yarn through the last 2 loops, finishing up the triple crochet. We repeat it 1 more time in order to have our 4th post. When you are done with the 4th post, you pull the loop, the last loop, very big. You release your hook, go back to your first post, attach your hook going through the first double stitch which you created with your first chain up post. Loop your hook through that, and go back to your 4th post and pull the huge loop you just created through the first post actually, and closing the 4 posts into 1 by slip stitching it. And then you just chain up 2 and you go to your next stitch, building up the next 4 posts for your next or second rose petal of your flower. Repeat this process actually until we have 12 rose petals in the end. So when you add your 12 rose petal, you chain up 2 and then you slip stitch to your first flower rose petal, closing up your flower. And then we chain up 1 in order to close up the whole rose petal. Alright, for our next step we are going to do the little leaves. So these leaves are pretty simple actually. So we are attaching our new color through one of these holes we just created in between of our rose petals. We chain up 2 and then we double crochet 3 posts into that one big hole. Then we chain up 1 and go to the next hole of our rose petal in between the next 2 rose petals actually, and do another 3 double crochet posts. Repeat the process working around the flower. Then we are closing up actually the last post to our first post by slip stitching them together. We chain up 1 and close up the pattern of our leaves. For our next step, actually, you might recognize that our patch looks very round right now. So in order to get it as square, we are going to do the next step. So for the next step, we are building our corners and our straight line. So we are starting with one of the first corners. In order for this, we are going to attach our white yarn. We chain up 3, then we are going to double crochet into the same spot, building 3 posts. After this, we chain up 2 and we start double crocheting 3 posts again into the same spot. So this is how you build up the edge or the corner of your patch. After this process, you chain up only 1, and now we are going to half double crochet into the next spot. This is working very easy. Actually almost the same as the double crochet. You twist your yarn once around your hook. You go through the hole of your next spot, then you yarn over, pull the yarn through, you have 3 loops on your hook. You yarn over and pull the yarn through all 3 loops. This is how you close up your half double crochet. You repeat this process 3 times, building 3 half double crochet posts. After this, you chain up 1 and go into your next spot, building 3 half double crochets posts. After this, you chain up 1 and you start creating your corner again. We are continue working our patch to a bigger size, and this is how big you want to have your bag actually. So I decided to add 3 more rows actually to my patch in order to have the right size for my bag. So for this, we have just closed our first row of our patch to make it squared. Then we're going to add 2 more slip stitches in order to reach the corner of our patch actually, and from there we are chaining up 3 again, and then we double crochet 2 more posts actually, then we chain up 2, building our corner, then we double crochet 3 more posts for our corner, and then we start to repeat the whole process. The straight line is getting bigger and bigger, and the edges are getting more far from each other, so you need to do more half double crochet post sets in order to increase your patch. You're repeating this until you have reached the 4th row. Then you can close up your patch by chaining up 1. In order to get the bag, we're going to need 2 of these patches. We are building the strap next, and as you might know, the strap is the one part which is carrying all the weight of the bag, so it needs to be very tight. So for this, we are going to do a simple slip knot. We are starting by chaining up 5, then we skip the first loop actually, we go directly into the second loop, yarn over, pull the yarn through, and leave it on the hook. Then we go on to the next loop, yarn over and leave it on the hook. There should be 2 more holes, 2 more loops, having at the end 5 loops on our hook. Then we start by yarning over again, pull the yarn through the first loop only. We yarn over, pull the yarn through the next 2 loops. We yarn over, we pull the yarn to the next 2 loops. We yarn over, pull the yarn through, and then we yarn over and pull the yarn through the last 2 loops. Now we've created our first row actually. You repeat this process. When you look at your first row, there should be a V from your last stitch visible. So the stitch should build up a little V. We put our hook through the whole of the V. We yarn over, pull the yarn through, and leave it on our hook. Then we go to the next V, put the hook through, yarn over, pull it through, leave it on the hook until you've reached the end and having 5 loops again on your hook. And then you continue the process as we did on the first row. You are going to repeat this process as long as you want to have your strap. So for the long strap on the brown bag, I actually did 1 meter and 10 centimeters. For the white bag, I actually did the same length, but I take it double by attaching the strap to the bag. And then we are going to continue with the attaching process. We are going to attach the 2 patches and the strap in order to get our bag. In order to attach those 2 patches, we first have to clean it up. We are taking the wool needle and weave in the loose axis of our patches into the area around it, and then you just cut it. As soon as it's nice and clean, we can start attaching the patches to each other. For this, it's very important to choose a beautiful side which you want to have on the outside and a more ugly side which you want to have in the inside. We are facing the two beautiful sides onto each other, so the ugly side is facing the outside, and then we are starting to crochet with our single stitch the two patches together, repeating the single crochet process going along the sides of our patches. But as soon as you've reached the ending, you just chain up one, close up by cutting the thread, pulling the yarn through. We are turning it inside out, so the beautiful part facing the outside, and then we are attaching the straps to the back. For this we are going to use our hand sewing kit. In order to build the inner lining, we are going to need some cloth. Actually, I'm using cotton cloth, some simple cotton cloth. We are taking our bag, laying it onto our cloth, drawing our line of how big we want to have the two pieces for the inner lining. So it should be a little bit bigger than the bag actually is. Make sure to leave also some space on top of your bag, because I did it wrong, because you want to create a little hem for the opening of your bag, and I completely miscalculated it for the white thing, so I didn't left any extra space for the hem on top of the bag. And then you just sew them together, and then you can turn it inside out and you have created your little bag. And for the next step, we are turning our bag obviously also inside out, and we put our bag into that little inner lining bag. Actually, as I miscalculated it, mine was a little bit too small, but it fitted perfectly on the brown bag. We are sewing the inner lining bag to the back to have this nice and clean and round up. This is all sewed together to the back. On the white bag, it was a little bit too small, so I didn't want to sew around. It looks a little bit sloppy and yeah, chaotic, but it's still working actually. What I can fully recommend is also to sew the edges down below together in order to have it nice and clean. And then you are actually done. And then we can check out the final result. Alright guys, so these are the final bags. So as I said, I just told you guys, this is a fast and easy tutorial with a very good looking outcome actually. So it's something self-made, it's cute as a present, it's cute as having as a little bag for like if you run some errands, I don't know, to put on your phones, to put in your money, coins or small items, I don't know. Thanks for watching guys. I hope you guys liked this little tutorial, this crocheting project. I'm very happy that I'm back to crocheting, so I hope there will be more content in the future. If you like this video, feel free to give it some thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to subscribe to the channel for more DIYs in the future. And if you haven't checked me out on my social media yet, feel free to check me out on the links tagged along the screen. And I can't wait to be back in the next video guys. I love you guys. I see you guys soon. I hope you have a good day, a good night, a good morning whenever you watch this video. Good luck with your crocheting projects, and I see you guys soon.